face red.
All right, guys, welcome back to another one-on-one beat sessions. We got Michael Stewart in the guest chair. Michael.
You know Mike.
Yes, sir. You know Mike in the chair for a one-on-one beat session, man. Welcome, dude. Who are you? Tell us a little bit about yourself. Man.
I'm a regular dude, man. Michael Stewart, you know Mike, Instagram, Xbox Live, whatever.
You're pretty famous on the gram, man. I feel like,
I
took a hiatus. Yeah,
I'm retired.
Yeah.
I'm retired.
You retired?
Yeah.
But it was, when you had your streak going, man, I felt like you were everywhere. Like, everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, like,
you had to know Mike.
Is that why you went with the Mike? Because everybody had to know
I couldn't tell you. I was freaking the same thing for... I went by the same name for everything forever, and I was like, I'm switching it up.
Well, I noticed when I was on Instagram that you would particularly show up in certain photos, like
girls,
certain demographic, also IG models and things of that nature.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely.
So tell me, because it was kind of interesting. We used to talk about this in the group chat. How did you happen to like these photos? Like 20 seconds into it, was it like a post notification?
Oh no, they ran those pictures by me first before they got permission to post them.
Okay,
yeah.
Like that, because I felt like
so then they were like, hey Mike, is it okay if I post this? And I'm like, yeah, go ahead.
So you were kind of like a manager at the same time.
Little bit, yeah.
Who were your favorites?
All of them.
Who were your favorite?
Yeah, you want
all of them?
You didn't care
top five.
I
don't really have a top five.
You don't?
No, you just like them all equally.
Yeah.
Now you're saying that because your girlfriend's in the audience share right now?
No, what happened on Instagram in my past.
Hey, I want you guys to understand, since he's retired, this is how he called it. Instagram.
It was on Instagram. Nothing serious. I mean, I was liking girls' pictures that I only knew through phone that hit me up before they got permission.
Is scaring me because I feel like you feel a little pressure about this conversation.
Bro. I like girls' pictures on Instagram.
All right.
Brittany Renner, Kim Russo.
Wow. Okay.
Those are like the only two I really remember, actually.
Okay. But. Well, Mike, we miss you. Okay, but we understand you're moving on to bigger and better things.
Hey, you gotta settle down, man. You
we're
gotta
happy.
move on.
We're happy for you.
Yeah, life develops.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. So let's just get the white elephant out of the room. Right?
Yeah, let's go get the big old white elephant out of the room.
You're white.
I'm white. I am a white boy.
You're mayonnaise.
WH. White.
Didn't you used to enjoy like mayonnaise sandwich with
Love
your friend?
Them. Dude, I can eat mayonnaise straight out the jar.
What is hummus?
That is disgusting.
What is that?
I don't know exactly what it is. I feel like it's crushed up peas, maybe. It's like peas and like I don't know, certain spices or
I
peppers.
doubt the spices, because we talked about how you don't use spices.
I don't use them. Don't mean I don't eat them.
What?
If I don't use them, that don't mean I don't eat them.
How do you eat them if you don't use them?
I don't cook hummus.
Oh, I mean, I'm just saying.
I buy hummus with spices in it.
If you don't like spices,
Sazon or whatever.
Sazon. I'm gonna have to look that.
That's what it's called, right?
Okay, I think so.
I don't know.
It comes in a little box. I'm pretty sure I worked at Publix a long time too.
So I'm gonna ask you, man. You're white in 2018. How does it feel, bro? Like, because we interview black people, Spanish. I feel now we're getting the other spectrum, man.
Do you feel privileged?
I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. I do think white privilege is still a thing.
Yeah,
I don't think honestly, as long as certain people are, I guess, leading the country, for lack of a better way of putting it, I think white privilege will always be a thing.
Yeah. Did you feel like it was around when Obama was leading the country?
Yeah. I don't think it really went anywhere.
Oh, okay.
I don't feel like it affects me on a day-to-day basis. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I mean, I think it affects certain demographics.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Like upper to middle, upper class. Like the higher middle.
When did it feel the strongest? Which president?
For me personally?
Yeah.
Which president?
Yeah.
Oh, you want me to be honest? Right now.
Yeah, man. This is one-on-ones. We want to get to know you, bro.
Right now. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. It's as bad as it's ever been. But I also think the media is pushing a certain narrative.
Yes, I agree.
I think the media wants people to dislike Trump. I don't have a horse in the race. I'm gonna tell you right now. I didn't vote. I didn't like either candidate.
I was gonna ask you, as when we were talking about millennials before, and I feel like that's also a big issue that we're facing, is that millennials don't vote as much.
We were raised on you have your own mindset, man. Yeah. You have your own beliefs. You grow up. You're gonna grow up. You have to be your own person.
Now,
a lot of us are pushed out of the house as young.
Now, growing up now as a millennial, as Michael Stewart, don't you feel like now is the more than the time to express your voice? Because if we all have a voice, shouldn't you use it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think so.
I do think though that to a certain extent, I don't think any one voice matters.
Yeah.
Unless you're like, we'll go Colin Kaepernick route.
Yeah.
His voice mattered. His voice pissed off a lot of people. And that's where I think also the white privilege thing comes in. I mean, in a different context.
Yeah.
So you look at the demographic that doesn't like Kaepernick, and I don't think there's many non-whites in it. I'm just be honest with you.
It's true.
I mean, I don't.
So would you say the voice was the value of what was going on, or was it the platform that he was on?
I think it was a combination of both.
Yeah.
I don't think the people the people that I keep alluding to, the higher ups, whether they be white or black or Spanish or whatever they're gonna be, I think the higher ups don't like somebody that's not supposed to step out of line. I don't think they like people stepping out of line, regardless of who you are.
But I also think that plays into that tradition topic that we were talking about, which that older tradition who like things a certain way. They want to continue.
Everybody stays in line. Yeah. Everybody does their own thing. Nobody has a voice.
Okay. So I mean, white privilege, it's still around.
Yeah.
You could at least acknowledge it.
You can't sit here. Nobody in their right minds can sit here and deny it. I mean, I do think there are certain circumstances where you got certain colored people, whether it be white or whether it be black or whether it be Mexican, or I mean, none of them are really colors, but criminals, in my opinion, are criminals.
Yeah.
If you're out and you're pulling a gun on anybody, and that cop, we're just gonna go with the police brutality route because it's the most prevalent. It's the easiest to talk about. That's what everybody thinks when you think white privilege. You think
police brutality.
If whether you could be a white guy, man, if you got a gun and you had a gun, you might not have it anymore. But if that cop or whoever thinks you still have a gun and they shoot you or shoot at you, I can't necessarily put that certain person who took the chance to shoot at you, I can't put them to blame. And you know what I mean? It's life or death for a lot of them people. I do think a lot of them are unjust. Yes, there are tons, way too many. There are way too many unjust
like police brutalities and things of that nature. Yes,
exactly. Way too many that go, the people get off scot-free. I don't like that.
Now, wouldn't you say, because this is a very touchy subject? But,
yeah, I'm being honest with you though.
Would you say though that shouldn't then the person who is of authority have a little bit more training when it comes to self-control?
Yeah.
Because there's been a lot of instances where that person used lethal force in a situation that doesn't really recall first. Because I've seen, and again, this is kind of part of what you were saying before, how social media and whoever's controlling all this pushes a certain narrative, which I completely agree with. But in a sense that I've seen full-on blown scenarios of maybe a Caucasian male up against a Caucasian police officer. Oh, yeah, and
it's diffused without any...
Well, not even diffused, but I've seen this guy go blow to blow with him. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking like resisting.
And
there was no lethal force.
Yeah.
Not even a taser at any point. They were trying to wrestle this guy down.
Absolutely right.
But in other cases where a guy could be manhandled by like 6 other police officers, what would you say in that case? Do you think there should be a little bit more...
Restraint? Yeah.
Restraint, but also maybe... a re-education on
definitely
on what's going on, at least in that manner, because I feel like
I don't think I mean systematic racism is a thing.
Yeah,
you can't sit here and say it's not. Nobody can. I do think people need to be retrained, be better about certain situations. Don't be so quick to pull the trigger. In a literal sense and a figurative sense. Don't be so quick to pull a trigger to do something lethal, something that's going to end somebody else's life.
And it's hard to say because obviously we're not police officers in that moment.
Exactly.
So it's very biased of us to say this in hindsight. But I would say, at least, because I remember hearing this with Chris Rock, it's like, okay, even though we're not in your shoes, even though we're not police officers, even though we know it's a high stress job, respectively, and I respect everything that they do, at the same time, there's just certain professions that you can't have a bad day in. Yeah, because if you have a bad day, someone can lose their life.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Perfect example, which Chris Rock mentioned. Imagine a pilot had a bad day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's a plane full of people who die. no matter what the color.
No, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, that's where I'm more concerned about is the psychological nature of what's going on and whether they need to be retrained. Because in my opinion, steps to move forward towards these type of things is to re-educate the police officers, but also to teach our children, at least of the race that we feel like is being affected the most, which is black, you know, in this case, is to teach our kids, don't hate these cops.
Just say black.
Yeah, you know, it definitely spans
it's
more.
minorities.
Minorities in general.
Minorities in general.
But I would say to teach our children when we have children not to hate cops, because we need more minority children to respect officers, one, but to go into the field to then bring more culture. Balance it out. Because if you have more of that balance, they're around more minorities, it's not going to become so much of a stigma. Yeah, well, it's not going to be so much of a stigma of, okay, there's so many Caucasian police officers as opposed to minorities, and they're going to be around minorities more often. So it's just like, I feel like there's going to be more checking in that nature. But it's so easy to say, you know, F the cops, F the police, this, that, and the third, as opposed to actually addressing the issue and fixing the issue. But as we move forward, I wanted to bring up something too, you know, something quick to your attention. I'm gonna let you know, man, what you guys have, you and your girlfriend, man, this relationship goals, you know, because I feel like in 2018, and especially as millennials, just like we were talking about in the conversation, you guys are doing so many different things, so many different aspects. You guys are trying different things, trying to be successful in so many other avenues, but it's the constant support that I see from both you and her in that level, because me and Facey have gone, you know, deep in these conversations about the level of support and the level of demand of support, man. You know, especially straight off this out the gate. You know, you get to know this person, but it's like, it's real easy to love someone but not support them, because a lot of people don't understand that sometimes that's two different things.
I think they should go hand in hand.
They should.
I think they should go
I
hand
feel like
in
there's
hand.
such a separation, because nowadays it's like, I feel like it's a risk, quote unquote. Oh, he does, you know, he takes photos. Oh, is that a real job? Is that a real 9-to-5, quote unquote? Is that a traditional job?
It could be jealousy as well.
It could be.
Oh,
it could
they're
definitely
doing great. People love them. They're making more money than me.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything with my life.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
Think that's silly. You're right. You're absolutely right. It could be, you know, there's jealousy. You can, if she's doing better than me or I'm doing better than her, it's very easy. Like you said, it's easy to love and not support.
And that's what I'm saying, because the jealousy, it doesn't mean you necessarily don't love her, but you're mad more or less at your own predicament and how much successful she is. You know what I'm saying?
I wish I want her to be more successful than me.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I would think for a man or a female, to wish more upon their...
It should come easy.
Yeah.
And it should come easy.
But
every conversation, every time you wake up, every time you go to sleep, should be easy to support the person that you're with.
Exactly.
If you can't support them, you can't love them. In my eyes.
And that's what I love. That's what I love seeing, because it's like every time there might be a turn in either of your lives,
right?
It's like
you got to be there.
Well, yeah, you got to be there. And whether we see it visually, because obviously it's a personal relationship, but whether you put it on Instagram, whether you guys are working hard towards something, it's like, let's say for your Instagram page, you know, I'll see she's the first one to like, you know, your stuff, and it's just like whenever she's posting something, I see you right away in the liking, you know, in the comment section, or whether it be likes or anything like that. It's that constant support and whatever lane that you're taking that's so important, in a sense that can mold whether you will be successful about it regardless. Because if she's not about it, or if he's not about it, that's that much more negativity holding you back from being successful. Yeah. So I got to give you guys props, because, you know, and anybody out there, just keep that in mind, whoever's in a relationship, just, you know, it's easy. But, you know, it's hard to realize if you're an actual hater of a person you love. You know, it's hard to catch yourself.
You don't love them.
But it's hard to recognize it, you know? It's just like, damn, you know, she is doing pretty good.
And you need to sit down and get the hell over it.
And communicate.
Get the fuck over it. Yeah. Like, I don't... If she's successful in one thing, I'm going to support her. Yeah. I could be struggling. My ass off. But I know she's got my back. Yeah. Just like if it were vice versa, I got her back. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're in it in a relationship, man. You're in it together. Yeah. You're in it like from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to sleep. That's the only person in my life I try to please. Yeah. Only person. And that's beyond myself.
That's how it should be, man. And that's, guys, I can't stress this enough, man. When these one-on-ones, they get better and better over time. And Michael Stewart, you guys blessed us with, at least a little bit of personal, experiences, but also some relationship advice. So I appreciate you dropping some knowledge on us.
It's easy, man.
And guys, how you guys feel about any of the topics that we covered, please drop a comment below. But that was our one-on-one with Michael Stewart.
Mike.
And what we're about to jump into. We're going to take a break.
Call him, Mike.
Yeah. You guys.
I can do that part.
That was our one-on-one with Mike. But we're going to go ahead and jump into game time after this quick break. Okay, so game time, man.